What's up, y'all? Welcome back to The Process. I wanted to take some time today and speak to something that is very important, which is coaching yourself. And when I say coaching yourself, what I mean by that is developing a positive and constructive relationship with yourself and really propelling yourself along the path of creation in a sustainable, healthy, and hopefully fun way. Even for myself, as I'm noticing how much I need to get done, what I'm finding is that everything is discipline, whether it's sitting down and writing, taking the time to film or edit, organize yourself, publish everything. It all takes discipline. And ideally, it helps if you have routines and systems that propel you towards doing all these things. But when it all comes down to it, you have to put yourself in a state of mind or mindset where you are executing on those things, ideally on a consistent basis. And discipline just doesn't come naturally to everyone. Some people have it and use different means to get themselves into that place. But for the average person, it takes a little bit of self-awareness and self-reflection in order to get yourself to a place where you are comfortable with doing all the things that are required to hopefully create well. Let's break that down. What do I mean by having a positive, constructive relationship with yourself? Well, I think that there's really two ways you can go about it. You can be the type of person that beats themselves up or builds themselves up. And I think as a default, a lot of us tend to be more of the type of person that beats ourselves up because we're so used to just seeing that type of coaching style and or maybe even parenting style in our lives currently. For instance, if you come from a background where if you make a mistake, whether it's professionally or in your personal life, and the default response is, how could you have done that? You're so stupid. Just these really harmful responses that you apply to yourself. That can be really detrimental to your self-esteem, and it doesn't help or encourage you to want to come back to that task or that action and try and do it well, because it takes so much more time for you to build up your confidence to do that if you've just spent a significant amount of time tearing yourself down, which is not ideal. So we don't want to be the type of person that beats ourselves up. To the contrary, if you can be the type of person that makes a habit of acknowledging mistakes, but encouraging do better or learn from whatever that outcome was, the amount of time it takes for you to bounce back and go, no, I can actually do this, will be a lot shorter. What steps can we take to actually build ourselves up instead of beat ourselves down? One of the first things you can do is catch yourself in the moment if you notice that you're about to beat yourself up. I do this quite routinely. If I, let's say, make a mistake on an edit, instead of saying something negative, I have to almost pause and then reiterate my frame of mind so that I either just brush it off and not allow myself to do that, or just say some type of positive affirmation instead. And it can be as simple as just telling yourself that it's okay and moving forward. The more you're aware you are of how you default to these negative patterns, the better suited you'll be to stop them from happening and instead lean on something positive and allow yourself to move forward. Another thing that I like to do on a daily basis, I can't stress enough how journaling has helped me over the past couple years. And oftentimes people go, well, what do I journal about? Or what do I write about? For me, what I like to do is write a letter to myself, almost in the sense that I'm having like a morning meeting with myself. And often what that letter has in it is some type of self-reflection on the previous day, some type of reminder of what we're working towards and what's at stake, and most of it encouraging words. It's almost as if I'm talking to myself through journal form, and the voice inside of my head that's kind of like guiding the process is reminding me that I can do it instead of reiterating all of the insults and faults and mistakes that I know I've already made. There's no reason to relive them. But it's just a whole reframing of how that conversation is with yourself, so that when you go to take on a task, you are almost training yourself to default to a more positive coach. That can be really hard to kind of default to, okay, like what does it mean to coach yourself? What I would recommend is just think about how you would talk to a friend or someone that you truly care about if you were trying to encourage them along a path or some type of journey. The way your mind will reframe to handle that person delicately but constructively, if necessary, will completely change how you approach yourself. This journey is such a marathon, and that's the only analogy I can kind of use to describe it, where it's not a sprint. It's not get from point A to point B as quickly as you possibly can. It really is you and yourself trying to navigate all the different skills and requirements that are needed in order to bring whatever dream or goal you have to fruition. And oftentimes that involves you wearing multiple different hats. I know for me, trying to create, it's trying to edit well and rate well and have discipline and market well, constantly thinking about strategies and how to apply them and staying organized. There's so many things, and it's really hard to become great at all those things at once, which is why it takes so much time. And once you're able to recognize that the journey and the process takes time, you can allow yourself the grace of going, it's okay that this isn't totally perfect right now. It's okay to strive for excellence as a standard, but to pigeonhole yourself to that and then beat yourself up if everything doesn't look like that all the time is detrimental. So while reminding yourself that this doesn't have to be perfect tomorrow, this published piece of content doesn't have to check all the boxes this time, we can try again next time. Just lowering the bar and expectation does wonders. And what helps people sustain themselves long term, one of the things is being able to coach yourself well. So I say all that with the intention to remind you that it's important to have a positive, constructive, grace-filled relationship with yourself while you're along this journey, because everything won't always look perfect. You want to make sure that you love yourself along the way, because the opposite is just complete self-sabotage and will only lead to quitting, because it's really hard to be on a journey with yourself if you hate yourself. That's all I wanted to speak to today. I hope that you can take this information and run with it and apply it and do well with it. And until next time, we'll see you. All right.